So many of us are conditioned to live our lives so that it is pleasant to others and not pleasant for ourselves.
Welcome to the Caroline Schmid podcast. I'm your host, Caroline, and this is the stripped naked version of my life. This podcast is here to inspire, to support you, and to learn together. On here, I share my raw stories of my life, my wins and failures, all about energy healing, spirituality, and consciousness, and most importantly, on how to better your mental health. I hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
Welcome to another episode of the Caroline Schmid podcast. I'm your host, Caroline, and today I'm revealing 5 controversial things, 5 rebellious things I would do again because they brought me to the place where I am today. I would not have been able to get some things, to achieve some goals, if I didn't do the controversial things that I'm going to tell you right now. The first thing is that I went to China for a student exchange. Usually all high school students that do a student exchange in Europe, they go to the US. And because I am and was the way I am, I wanted to do the exact opposite of everyone. And when you're in Europe, you go to the US, to your left, and go to Asia is the direct opposite. So what happened in China was not that I just wanted to learn Chinese, which I did. At the end of my 4.5 month stay there, I was fluent in Chinese. I was fluent in talking, not fluent in writing or reading. These are very different levels of Chinese. And my goal was to just learn Chinese, do the thing, do the good girl stuff. But what happened in China was that I really got to know myself better. I got to know my fun side of me. I don't know. Before that, I never kissed a guy or a boy. I never drank alcohol. I was just the good girl from A to Z. It was just pure innocence. And when I came to China, my host sister was 4 years older than me, so she was 20. And on the day they drove me to the airport, so 4.5 months later, she told me that she thought that I was also 20, where now I'm 23, and people ask me what age I am because they don't believe me that I'm that old because I look younger. Usually round face people look younger. I don't know. I don't really care. But she thought that I'm 20 as well. And that's why she invited me to go clubbing with her. This was the 3rd week I was in China. And I went to my host parents every weekend. The thing was, she wasn't allowed, or just in general, from the innocent, good girl, good person culture in China, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't go clubbing, you don't do that. The most that you do for fun is that you go for karaoke. If you've been to Asia with college students, high school students, whatever, they love karaoke, it's a religion even for them. Karaoke. So of course I also went to karaoke, but she introduced me to the party bar scene in China, which I never thought would be that much fun. I would call myself an introvert. Once you get to know me, or even before, I like to talk. The reason for the podcast? No. I was presented with a situation where my friend who, my roommate basically, she was from the US. She was also doing a student exchange program. So we always went together to the bar, to the club, but mostly bars. And the longer we stayed there, the more, how should I say, sneaky we got. I don't know how you call it in English, but the more we allowed ourselves to do. So in the beginning, we were like, yeah, I'm Caroline, and her name is Sloan. And then we started to imagine, or like to give ourselves a new character. So such like one of the best nights in the bar ever was that I was at the bar. I was ordering something to drink, and this girl came up to me, which I saw her in the bar like every weekend since then. And like we started chatting, and I'm like, yeah, I'm an English teacher. I'm like from Switzerland, and I'm here teaching English in school, high school number 4. So all the high schools in where I was have like, they do not have like a name. They're just like from 1 to like, I don't know, 80. And so I was in school number 4. And like the system, how it works is that they even change names, because this is their name is a rank. Okay, so I went like to the 4th best, what was that? Like 4th best high school in the city I was. And so I told her, yeah, I'm an English teacher from high school number 4. And she's like, you kidding? Like my friend who also sits at my table, he's also an English teacher from school number 4. And I'm like, okay. I did not, like, I first thought, okay, like someone was just like making some stuff up. But I come to that table, and my English teacher is sitting at that table. And I kid you not, my friend, my new friend, the girl, she introduced us, and my English teacher, he played the game. He was such a fun dude, and I just had him like for a couple of English sessions, and then like I changed classes because I went into a more like immersive Chinese class. So he was my English teacher the first couple of weeks I was in China. So like in the moment, at that day where we met at the bar, he was not directly my teacher, but like a few weeks before he was. So he just like immersed himself in that play of just like playing the game. So he acted as if he did not know me, or like he, like, I don't know like what he said, but basically he did not say, oh yeah, you're a 16-year-old student. Yeah. So because Chinese people cannot really tell the age of your appearance, and the other way around, of course. I was also asked if I'm the only blue-eyed girl in Europe, which I was like, no. But thank you. So at the bar, at that table, we were like 12, 16 people, I don't remember. I had such, like, with Sloan, with my friend, we had such a good time talking with our teacher, our English teacher, and then we danced with him on the table, which was weird but like fun, because like he was, I don't know, like 35 and we were 16. Like there was nothing like sexual happening, but it was just like such a fun experience, because like usually, like from a reputational side of, or a reputational view, he did not tell like his other colleagues, of course, that he was at the bar clubbing. But we neither. But like to have this experience, it was just like so much fun. And then we played like some Chinese drinking games, all of that. And it was just such a good night. And I had with Sloan, we had several different other nights, which I never told my parents. I just told my friends, where when I would have a 16-year-old daughter right now, which just like, that was 7 years ago, okay? 7 years ago, I came back from China. I don't know if I would be comfortable with her being there, because we had some very shady situations where things could have gone wrong very fast and very easily. I'm very glad that they did not. But for example, as I said, I was only at my host parents' house at the weekends. And because my host sister was not allowed to go into a bar, go to a club, like she was in her parents' eyes, she was a good girl. How many Chinese students live like that? So she would go and sleep at her college dorm room. But to get into that college, you need to pass security, and security knows every single student. So when you, like, especially like you're not Chinese, you do not look Asian. So sneaking in as a European is not possible, especially like you have like a pass that you need to scan when you like enter and leave, whatever. And so we went to that bar together, and I thought we would go back to my host parents' place, like to her parents' place. And then like at 11, like before 11 p.m, she tells me like, yeah, she's going to her college dorm to like go to sleep. And I'm like, okay, like it's pretty early, but like whatever, we're coming with you. And she's like, no, like you're not allowed to. And I'm like, okay, like where should we sleep tonight? And then she's like, yeah, like ask your German friends, whatever. And that was, I'm not even sure if it, but I'm pretty sure it was the first night that we went out in the bar. It was the first time I drank whiskey and Coke, which became the go-to drink there then, which I cannot stand. Like, I do not drink anymore right now. But then we had to figure out where we would sleep. So we were at the bar until like, I don't know, like 1:32. Like that was also the time like the bar was closing, like nobody was there anymore. So then we just like walked around the big city, and like the center or like the big square of the city looked very similar like the typical big square in Tokyo, like, you know, the picture from above, like with so many people and like cars and buses and whatever, and like motorcycles. So that was the reality of the square in the city where I was staying. And at night at 3 a.m, this square was empty. And what did Sloan and I do? We ran and danced and sang and screamed around that square. Usually, you need to remind yourself, it's packed with cars and motorcycles and buses and like people. But at 3 a.m, it was empty. No bus, no taxi, no fucking soul was there. It was such a liberating moment. Yeah, afterwards we slept at KFC, who then kicked us out an hour later. And then we went to McDonald's because they already opened at 5:30, I think. So we had, I don't know, like because I was vegan at that time, my friend had a fish burger. That was the only, they had like 3 things at the McDonald's. They had a fish burger, they had matcha ice cream, which matcha I cannot stand, and they had black tea. So I had a full day of school. I went into the bar. Now it was around 5-6 a.m. and they only had these 3 things. So she ate like a fish burger, I drank a black tea, which I'm like immune to, like a little dose of caffeine. Like I was able to fall asleep very quickly. And then at 6:30, we walked back to our school, which this was Friday to Saturday night, okay? We should have been at our host family's place, okay? My host sister told our supervisor at school that I was sleeping at Sloan's place, basically at her host family. And Sloan told my supervisor and her host parents that she's sleeping at my host family's place, okay? In the end, we slept at KFC, at McDonald's, and then at 6:30, the gates opened to our high school. at 10 p.m. until 6:30. The gates and doors to the dorms are locked. They have like a huge, like it's not fire friendly. Like if there is a fire, you're just like gonna be a barbecue because there's no way like you're getting out. Or like maybe a slight chance. But like they're locked. So what happened that we had to sneak in through the garage into our dorm, and our dorm room was next to our supervisor's room, and next to her room was another room with a guy from Belgium, Kevin, a good friend of mine, who was also there for a student exchange program. So we were door to